From New York City to Los Angeles, Powered Up Talk Radio is giving women of all ages permission to live the life they'd always dreamed of. Here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin.
Hey, everybody, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Linda Franklin, and this is Powered Up Talk Radio, and we have our wonderful guest, Fred Lanzetta from New York City, and Lisa Transcendence Brown from Hawaii, and we're going to talk about the old way of setting intentions and setting resolutions, things for the new year, is kind of third dimension. So we're going to learn some great things today, and we're going to talk about how do we get what we want in 2019 using our highest ability and our best self forward. So I'm going to put the mic right over to Lisa, because you said something to me and Linda about, intention setting. That's so third dimension. Like, there's so much more for you guys to know. So it's all you, baby. Go ahead.
I love it. Let's just throw it at her. Let's go.
Throw it over there.
This is quantum. We just like, everybody jump in. Let's do this. Okay. So yeah. Well, what we start to understand, the higher we go vibrationally, and it's all about energy, consciousness, and vibration, and all this kind of stuff. And so the old ways, and when I say the old ways, it's just the practices that we used to use. Once we got to a certain place, we came to understand we could bypass all those things that took so long. And that's what a part of a lot of this is the ability, called timeline jumping and quantum jumping. You can jump realities and timelines as fast as you can get your vibration up. And so everything is about vibration and energy and our levels of consciousness. So if, for an example, if I sit here, you guys are going to see me compare things to make a point. It's not a judgment. Nobody cares. It's just a way. The more linear we are, the more we live from our head, the more we set intentions, because the intention for our human aspect, and I break things down in human, soul, higher self, all this kind of stuff. If I set the intention, it just means that one day I'll get around to it. Look at how long that takes. Let me set the intention and go on and do my other day. I'll get back around to that. It's my intention to do it one day. Yeah. Guess how long that takes for that to occur? Forever, right? What happens when you set an intention? What are you actually doing?
Delay.
In a way, the purpose of the intention is to focus our energy. Mm-hmm. But on a human ego level, we don't understand. This is about focusing your energy, making that a priority, and stop making excuses. If, we will make every excuse in the book to not do that. I really, 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 really want this, but then I'm going to make 12,000 excuses as to why I can't. Mm. Now, and I'm going to go in every direction with this. You guys know that, okay? The thing that once we move into quantum states of consciousness, you understand that every vibration, every thought, every feeling, every belief transmits a reality for you to experience here. It's a vibrational return. So if I'm sitting here making excuses and saying, I'll get around to it one day, that's transmitting out to return my reality back to me. That's what I'm going to experience is one day. Mm-hmm. One day, I'll get around to it. One day, when it becomes important. One day, when I have the money. One day, look at all the things we do. Mm-hmm. When I feel like, I don't really feel like it right now. Well, then it's not important. The thing about, and I don't do manifestation in the typical human terms. The reason being is that's all a head game. Manifestation is, I really want to manifest this.
Right.
I really want this, and you're focused on the thing. Materialization is how we function. The physical reality will actually come into a materialized form when you hold that vibration and you focus your energy and you accomplish those things. It's that easy. But let's say
Well, maybe it's that simple. Like, what does that look like? Like, is it simple or is it easy? Because those are two different things.
Oh yeah, I guess that is true. Okay.
Can I give you an example? I think maybe it's an example.
Yeah, go for it. Let's do it.
Was concerned about a project and about going to this conference and protecting it. And I said, don't worry about that. And the next day, a friend invited me to something on early evening, and 3 people were going to be talking about what we just wrote. And she said, would you like to go? It's going to be a small venue, and you'll get to talk to them. So I said, sure. So it was like he was concerned about something, and I said, don't worry about it. And then I got an invite, and 3 people were actually going to present the same thing that we're going to present in a few months.
Cool. Now this is the thing. It is that, one, we don't really understand on a human level how any of this works. We don't understand how realities come to be created. We don't understand. It actually takes expanding our consciousness to understand how everything comes to be. And so part of it is, Fred, when you just told that story, okay? When you were asked, did you want to do this? Notice the feeling. Was it excitement inside? That excitement
There was no delay.
Hold is you get excited and say, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. Now, if you have any doubt, any judgment, any fear, your ego is going to come right back in and go, oh, but I'm scared. They might judge me. I'm not sure that my work's good enough. And then we start playing in the narcissistic game. Okay. It's really going for it. It's really embracing the excitement and pulling out all stops. The tricky part of this is that the human ego aspect will focus on things that it needs to be happy. That's not what this is about. This is about the way you feel, the things that inspire you, the things that raise your vibration and open your heart. On a human level, the things we want are different than what supports your soul.
Go, Linda. Linda's chomping at the bit over there. I can see her wanting to say something. Go ahead.
Lisa, Sandra and I have taken a couple of different workshops, and
cool.
When we were talking about this, we were told that not to focus on the thing, but the end result. What do you want to feel? What is your end result? Do you want to feel loved? Do you want to be happy? Whatever, do you want $1 zillion? Whatever that end result is, it's not the thing, it's the end result that you focus on.
It's in your, what it is in your peripheral.
Happy. I'll take anything that makes me happy.
Well, and that's the thing, is you start focusing on the feeling, the energy. You start focusing on happy. You start focusing on what brings you joy. You start focusing on things that matter in here, not what your head wants. So like somebody will go, oh, but I really want a nice new car. So here's the thing. If you focus on the car instead of certain other things, you're focused on a thing that you need. Notice the word is need, to make you happy. Okay. Your highest vibrational realities is not from a place of need.
Right.
Okay, so the vibration you are functioning from, the energy you're functioning from dictates those realities too. If you identify your happiness with that, and you say, I need this to be happy, then we have basically shut the door on just being happy and allowing that to come to support that happiness, to be a part of my happiness and joy. Does that make sense?
I'm losing it a little bit.
Yeah, you were right over my head. Boom.
That's okay. I'm supposed to be I'm supposed to challenge the way everybody thinks, because you're supposed to open up to new possibilities and ways of how this occurs.
So was that end result thing
end result gives you a focus. Well, it's more about the energy you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you focus on the end result, you also said focus on the way it makes you feel.
Yes.
okay, you're giving yourself an end result. But let me ask you this question, because that can work more than one way. Linda, if you focus on the end result, one, you're not present within the moment and what you're actually creating. You're focused on that over there one day. Unless that's your driving force, when you get up and say, you know what, I really want to accomplish this. And each day you're getting up and you're accomplishing the things that call that forth. But if you focus on the end result and it doesn't happen, you have affixed your happiness to an actual reality that might not be your highest aligned reality.
But it's not really a thing. The end result is more of a feeling and emotion.
That's
happiness.
the point.
So it's not a thing. I don't know what's going to make me happy.
Okay.
But I want to recognize it when it's there so I can embrace it.
So the
It's not a thing. It's just a feeling.
Correct. Well, that's the thing. It's important to be very clear in whether you're focused on a feeling or a thing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If you're focused on a thing, you have attached your happiness to that thing. And if it doesn't occur, then you're not going to be happy.
Or you could be wrong.
Well, there is no wrong.
Well, it's like if you're thinking a car will make you happy, and then you get the car and maybe the payment doesn't make you happy, or you don't like the leather, who knows? But if you want to be happy and leave it up to the universe to guide you to that happiness, would that be a better strategy?
Well, the thing about it is if you can be happy in the present moment right now, the car will come easier because you achieve happy without it. That happiness is what calls it forth.
And the happy is a high vibration.
The happy is now. Are you happy right now? If you're not, get happy. Get outside in nature. Get your vibration up. It's the vibration you come from. If you say, and I have to play with this from many directions to make a point. If you say, let's pretend for a moment, because we pretend. We play stories out. If you say, I just want to be happy, what's stopping you right now?
Right.
In being happy with right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it need to be long over there someday? If your goal is to be happy, then you're going to do whatever it takes in this moment to get up and go find your happiness right now. You're going to let go of all those perceptions that happiness is one day. Happiness is right now.
Right.
Now, this is where you bring everything into the current moment, present moment, 0 point field. We use all these different words and all this kind of stuff. What do you need right now to be happy?
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Being alive is a good thing right now.
This is fun.
This is fun.
If you're happy in this moment, then achieving that is going to be really easy. But if your happiness is in the one day, another time frame, which is the separation of time, then you're always going to be working, notice the energy, to get happy. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Happiness isn't one day.
It all circles back because in the last show we did a show on grieving because I had lost Lucy, and we said Lucy opened my heart, and now Lucy's job was over, so she had to leave so that I could create that love in my own heart and send it out. So this is the same principle with happiness.
It all is. And for you to find that love, then you take that love. And this is the thing, is that if we realize in this moment, you have the power to be happy or not. It's how you look at things. Yeah. It's your perceptions. It's whether you see everything as a gift or if you're waiting for another day. That's linear time. When you move up in vibration, time ceases to exist. The whole construct falls away. When you move up, we move up in vibration, and all realities collapse and converge into this moment right here. Now in this moment, you have the power to create, the power to be anything you desire. Now, from this energy, what are you creating with your thoughts, with your beliefs, with your dedicated energy? What are you doing when you get up each day? If you get up, let's say, I know I'm coming around, Linda, but I got to play with all this for a moment because I went through all of this, okay? Where my happy was in another time. when my happy was one day I'll be happy. And the reason I wasn't happy is because my vibration was so low. My body's vibration was so low. I wasn't taking care of me. I wasn't respecting me. I wasn't loving me. I wasn't bringing my reality into alignment vibrationally with love and respect and integrity and honor and all of these things that we have to hold in order for everything to be simple and easy. And so I'm using this as an example. I had to make a choice. I had to make a decision that happiness was my priority. And what's funny is when happiness became my priority, everything got really easy, because all I really needed was to be present and be in gratitude for everything. The reason we're not happy is we have no gratitude. We don't appreciate what we have.
Right.
We don't see everything else that comes as a gift.
Well, Lisa, it's so amazing that you say this, because I just had these conversations with some friends of mine, some single ladies. They're like, well, when I'm married, I'll be happy. When I have a boyfriend, I'll be happy. And they're like, how are you, going out with all these different people? How are you? And I'm like, because I am happy. Like, my happiness is not conditional on that. When you're happy, you get a lot more of what you want.
There's a difference in placing your happiness on something outside and finding your happy inside.
Right.
That's their total opposite realities. I don't need anything outside to make me happy. My happiness, but in the beginning, you can use the external to support that happiness. You can use the external. Someone used Lucy. You used Lucy to access that love inside of you. And once she showed you that it was inside, that you had the capabilities, she showed you where it was. You technically didn't need her to feel that feeling, that love anymore. You could do it yourself. But up until that point, you needed her. You used an external thing to open a portal inside of you, which is where that love was all along. But I'm making points here when I say these things. You couldn't get to that place without her. She agreed on a soul level to assist you with that, which is how all of this works.
And you know what else she assisted me with? I mean, I never really felt grief like I have in the last month since she's been passed over and exited, as you say. And so I never, even when my own parents died and stuff, I was sad, but I didn't feel that pain. So when other people have lost people, I could give them all the platitudes, oh, they're in a better place and all of that, which is true, but I didn't.
When you're going through it, you don't want to hear that stuff.
Right.
I mean, you really don't. It doesn't make it any better right then. Right then, we just need to feel our grief.
So the thing that I understand now, what grief feels like, and I haven't for my whole, this lifetime anyway, and then you appreciate the people that can understand that with you. Everything changes.
But you want to know why the grief was so deep? Because the love was so deep.
Yes.
It's always, she took you to the depths to feel, which meant that when it was time to clear everything not in alignment with that depth, all that grief that was there had to come up and go so that you could feel that all the time.
Yes.
But here's the thing, that pure love, when it's there all the time, you don't even notice it. It's not that big a deal. Whereas in the early days, when we felt that pure love, it's like, oh my God, this pure love, it's amazing. And then all of a sudden, once you felt it long enough, that pure love becomes a part of who you are. Mm-hmm. And I remember in my early days, one of my teachers, she would walk around and she's like, I just want to teach love. And I'm looking at this lady like, you're just freaking crazy. What are you talking about? You can't teach love. I didn't get it. I was so linear in my head. I didn't understand until I hit the place. And one day I was walking around going, I'm love. I was love at my core. I was love to everybody I met. I was love, which is our fifth dimensional existence. We're love. Now, later, that kind of changes because then you have to start getting everything into alignment and you step into all these roles of responsibility as higher selves and universal beings. And then everything starts to shift. You will always be love. but the level of responsibility changes for what you're willing to accept. That's less. There's no more, there's a zero tolerance. And this will be a part of every phase, if you will. There's a zero tolerance for a lack of respect. There's a zero tolerance for a lack of open, honest communication. There's a zero tolerance for karmic timelines, which are no fun whatsoever. There's a zero tolerance for each person not standing in their sovereignty and owning their stuff and coming together, and everybody coming from that respectful, kind love. If that's missing, then that pushes everything into a different place where it becomes your vibrational responsibility to bring it into a higher vibration in any way that you can. Does that make sense? And so love, for our human aspect, we didn't know what pure love was. We forgot. We fell from consciousness. And I'm going in a different direction with this for a moment, Linda, because it's important. It's a part of the awakening process. We are awakening to that love, to remember. It's a remembering. When you feel that love, it's like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is my home frequency. Most people don't understand that pure love that you feel, that's home. And there are certain beings that can assist you with feeling that all along the way. So that here's the tricky part. Until you feel it, you don't know it exists.
Right.
Until you feel it and are exposed to it, and then we get into worthiness, because when pure love is in your face, then all the unworthiness, I'm not worthy, and all this judgment comes in. And so it turns into a whole new ball game of, can you be that love in every exchange? Can you be that love for others? Can you show them what that love is like? Because that's a part of our roles here, is that when others are around us, they feel that love. You have to feel it to remember it. It's like, oh, I remember this feeling. It's a remembrance.
But most people,
Hence awakening to remember.
It's awakening to remembering, and it's through.
But
sorry, Linda, I didn't mean to cut you off. We've got 12. This is how we work. 12 conversations. Yes, Sandra. Go ahead, Linda.
we're so guarded, and I know I was. I mean, up until months ago,
and those are the walls.
Or years ago, is guarded, because to me, love equals pain, because if it leaves, the pain would be horrible. So you don't allow, that's how people build up, and me build up all of these walls, so that you don't have the feeling, so you don't have the pain. But it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work. You actually have to feel the pain for the pain is all your existence is. It's not just this one. That's why it feels so big. That the pain is everything that's been suppressed. Your whole existence here, it's coming up. Everything that was a lack of love, everything that wasn't of the highest vibration of purity and kindness and respect, all that stuff was pushed down and suppressed. And so every time we compromised ourselves, and I'm talking about on a soul level, okay? Because that purity, that light, that's your soul. When you can feel that, that's why it feels so awesome. It's because you are connecting with yourself on a soul level. Everything else doesn't matter at that point. And so when we actually start to understand that anything that isn't that pure love is an entire ego matrix system, the whole thing. When we start to understand, Linda, that the importance of this is, yes, especially if we went through any traumas growing up, which we all did in some capacity, and some to more extremes, because depending on the experiences we chose, we put up walls to protect ourselves against something. Oh, we lost her.
We did. We lost her, but we can keep going. She'll come back.
I was going to talk about the walls of protection we put up, and we don't understand when it's time to really wake up. We have to feel everything, but we judge the feelings and we blame everybody else. There's a lot of finger pointing going, a lot of victim mentalities of blaming others for stuff and not owning their realities right now, which is a part of the process. But the thing about it is when our heart fully opens all the way. We take responsibility for ourselves, but we also stop taking and accepting less anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We don't accept less because we don't have to.
Right.
The old ways, all the protection mechanisms, it's all our ego matrix, okay, telling us we need to protect ourselves against a threat. That's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've been observing a lot of this again lately because we're going through everything again. Like for those of us who have been doing this for a really long time, we're going through it all over again with the collectives going through all of it. So it's kind of like watching it on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
For me, from like the very beginning. And the other day I was observing all the twisted mentalities around love.
Wow.
Right, and which is going to be next month's conversation. So
yes, right. Next month we're going to talk about love.
Talk about this. So let's save the twisted mentalities and let's talk about the distortions of love, because that's a really important thing to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. In my early days, when we're really unconscious and asleep and our heart is closed and we've survived a lot, we put up a lot of walls against everything and we're in protection mode. We're in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We make up all these stories that we carry around in our head about how everything's a threat and out to get us and hurt us and screw us over and all these things. And we have to basically transcend all of that stuff. We don't understand by keeping our heart closed. We're actually, our ego is in control, and we're shutting the door on all the magnificence and all the brilliance and everything that's available to us. By opening our heart, it's really raw in the beginning. We feel very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of breaking down the old. A huge part of this process is breaking programming. The higher we go, the more capability we have to break the program right then. Okay? And so if we can identify and see the program that's running inside of us, the stories, the beliefs, the mentalities, all of those things, all those protection mechanisms, all of that lack, it's all lack. It's a disconnected energy where we've separated off inside from that pure love. And so, Linda, I kind of belayed part of the conversation till next month when we do the other one, because.
Well, no, so going on with this, getting the things that your heart and soul really yearn for in this new year, how does a person that's just starting on this journey how to decipher what's coming from their minds and what's coming from their hearts or their souls, so that they can tell the difference?
Okay, so let me say this to you really quick, just to make a point. In the beginning, we don't understand that our soul is pure. It lacks for nothing at all. Okay, your soul doesn't need anything. Your soul, it is pure source light consciousness. It has the ability to create and bring forth anything through conscious creation. Mm-hmm. Through focusing your energy from your highest dimensional place of love and realizing that all of these realities on a multidimensional level have already occurred. You just have to get up each day and do the things that call it forth here. So I'm gonna go all over the place with this for a moment, because it's really important to understand it's going to be the opposite of what we all believed in the beginning. One of the first things, if you want to access and bring forth your higher dimensional dreams, your higher dimensional dreams are going to be aligned on a soul level, not a human one. Your human wants certain things. Your human aspect first is to determine where you're coming from. If you're in need and lack, and I need this to be happy, then you're coming from your root chakra, survival, attachment, cords, give my power away. I can't be happy unless I have those things. And that reality, what you're going to do is call forth something that's going to show you that's not what happiness is. And it's not going to be an awesome reality. Fred knows this.
It's so challenging, but it's great.
It's an important part of the process.
The exact thing.
Your happiness something, and what's going to happen, you're going to call that. So everybody says, I need a relationship to be happy. We're going to call that relationship forth, and you're going to be shown, no, you don't. And it ain't going to be fun while you do. And so what you do is you focus on happy and say, if I'm meant to be in a relationship, then bring me the most awesome relationship. Let it be. Let it match my highest vibrational aspect of me. Let it. Most people, when they focus on realities, they don't focus on vibrational matches. Okay? When I'm focused on realities, I'm seeing the absolute highest one that's possible in all of them. And I get up each day and I do whatever is highest aligned for those things to come. The difference is that your number one is to connect deep inside to your soul. Most people miss that step. How do you know what's aligned on a soul level if you're not connected with your soul?
Okay, so how does someone, again, starting on this journey, do that?
Surrender. Start the communication process of talking to your higher self. Start the communication process of listening to the guidance, listening to your higher self. You have more than one voice inside.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. You actually have to choose. Now, here's the tricky part. Your human ego isn't going to like anything that your higher self tells you to do for a while, because they're going to make you do everything you fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make you step into the discomfort. It's going to show you what's not aligned vibrationally, and for you to bring it into alignment. So what happens is, first establish the connection. First, pull away and go sit in nature, where you can come to clarity and peace and silence, where you can listen. Are you listening to your own higher guidance telling you what you need to do? Most people miss this whole thing because they're trying to do it by themselves. It's a surrendered state of consciousness on an ego level. Mm-hmm. You're surrendering your ego to your higher self.
Right.
And you're saying, okay, higher self, I'm going to break this down in simplicity. In the beginning, for me, my inner chatter was so loud, I had to get away and go sit out in nature until I could get present. Most people are present. Yeah. You can't create anything when you're not present. Right. All you're doing is recreating the old over and over and over, which is just a karmic timeline loop that you play in over and over and over until you get done with that one.
Yeah.
If you really, really, really want to experience the realities that are highest aligned, that bring you the most joy, the most peace, the most amazing, the magic, the brilliance, and all of these things, then you're actually going to connect inside and start a dialogue with your best friend, your new best friend. Mm-hmm. Start a dialogue with your higher self. You have to learn to trust your higher self. Your higher self is there to guide you. Most people don't even know what their higher self is. If I ask you, I'm going to play right now, Linda, who's your higher self?
My soul.
It has aspects. Okay. You have a soul, you have an oversoul, you have a bazillion higher selves, but in the beginning, you only have one. You have a human and a higher self. You have to start with the two, because we don't even listen to the other voice. Does this make sense? It's silent. It's subtle. It's called the subtle realms. It's very quiet. Unless there's a distortion, and then you'll hear distortions really loud in your head. Things will get really loud. Okay.
Lisa, is it gentle or can it be demanding?
In the beginning, well, it depends. Okay. It depends on which aspect it is. The first thing to understand is that your higher self is you. Mm-hmm. Yes. On a multidimensional level, your higher self is you already. This is what I came to understand. My higher self was me already in all those realities I really desired to have. I had to become my higher self in order to achieve those realities here.
Wow.
Okay, which meant that every day I had to connect to my higher self, and I had to merge with that aspect of myself. I had to become that aspect of me so that those physical realities could become my reality.
Yep.
Most people, not really, because there's a bazillion people out here doing this now. So when I say most people, I'm talking about an unconscious community or whatever you want to say. before we truly awaken to higher consciousness, we don't believe in any of this stuff.
Right.
You don't believe in the invisible realms. You don't believe unless it brings up a fear, unless your reality collapses and it forces you inside to beg. That's not the first place we go, which is why there's so many realities collapsing right now. It's because none of them were aligned on a higher dimensional level. None of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this new template that we are still finishing up right now, the 12D template, 3D collapses faster because the templates of the earth and on a universal level and in our bodies are being rewritten. Whether we're conscious of it or not, the more in tune you are with your body vibrationally, the more you get to be a part of the process. You actually have to be in tune, in full presence. Okay? Understanding the separation of time is really important here. The higher, the deeper you go inside, the more your heart can open, the more your head can get out of the way, the more you can expand your consciousness, which is why meditation for so many is important, is because it gets them in that energy. Okay, so a lot of people, for me, I was very masculine energy and I didn't meditate, which meant I had to go to sleep. In order for me to wake up, the more masculine energy we have, the more we have to sleep. So now I'm going to circle back around, Linda. One of the first things, there isn't one thing to do. We're supposed to do all of them. So if you limit yourself to what one thing am I going to do, you're going to be missing the whole point. One thing is to dream. Our linear logical human says, oh, I can't. How are you supposed to live a dream if you won't allow yourself to dream? If you don't believe in the dream, because your belief is what occurs in your reality.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, so like Fred came in this morning talking about his lucid dream last night. In the beginning for me, I had to learn how to lucid dream. I had to actually consciously choose to go to sleep instead of working really hard while everybody else was going, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. I was saying, I got to go to bed. I got to go to sleep, because when you access the dream state, you're actually accessing the other dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn to daydream. You have to allow yourself to just drift and float. You have to let everything, when I say have to, if you want this reality, you do. You don't have to do anything at all. People get all stuck in the words, okay? If you want to live your dreams, you have to be open to that the dream's even possible. If you won't allow, your linear logical can't dream.
Right.
It shuts everything down and says, oh, that's not reasonable. That's not reality. I need to focus on reality. This is reality. This thing I can touch right now. This is the opposite of that.
Sorry, Lisa, I didn't mean to laugh at you, but I'm a big dreamer. I've always been a big dreamer, a daydreamer. It's where my greatest ideas come from. And when you said that, you were like my 6th grade teacher, my ex-husband, like sometimes my brothers and sisters, my parents, all in one, going, you know, because I'm the oddball dreamer of the family.
We are the dreamers. We're the visionaries. How do you think visionaries come to be? Is you actually entertain all the weird, bizarre stuff, and you actually open up so that you can see all the other dimensions prior to them actually occurring here.
Yes.
You get precognitive abilities, and it occurs through letting completely go in a surrendered state to allow yourself to dream. In the beginning for me, it was really hard because I was so preconditioned to not, I was so linear logical. I didn't know how to play. I didn't know how to let go. My muscles, pay attention to the muscles in your body, because it's going to be a huge impact. The tighter the muscles of your body, the more constraints you have. I had to actually learn each day to breathe and relax my body, breathe and relax my body, breathe and relax. And every time when your muscles tighten down, your heart closes and your dream stops. You actually have to do the opposite of what's natural on a human level.
Or can I just interject here maybe? Or like for me, I used to have this tree and I used to climb up to be in the tree, and I would sit up there, and there was a little branch that looked like a mustache, and I knew I was right in the place when I saw the mustache. And I would have the most wonderful dreams and experiences and stories. You know, they were a lot with my reading and my writing.
Yep.
And then when I went to college, and I'm not blaming any college or any
part of the process. Mm-hmm.
But they were ratcheting that back. They wanted to tie that down into facts and figures. And I'm like, but I just want to dream.
But it's a part of the process too, because as a child, if you will, I was all about the art and music and everything creative. And then it was time for me. What we don't understand is that we all have that access as children. And then it's time to enter what we call the veils of amnesia and
right, to grow up.
And what happens is because we actually have to enter the unconscious realms of going deep asleep in order to wake up. Now we're in a different place now vibrationally. All the children that are coming now, it's really important that all of the parents and every adult honor the children and support the children. They carry the codes. Mm-hmm. It's really important the parents shut the children down and tell them, when you're unconscious, you don't support creativity and dreams as a reality. You've convinced yourself that it's really hard, when in fact it's actually the opposite here. It's hard to let go. It's hard to stop trying. For those of us who are really linear, when it was time for me to get out in nature is a massive part of this process. You have to get out in nature every chance you get. Nature, you got to hug trees, you got to lay on the earth, you got to climb them, you got to be able to dance and sing and become one, literally, with Gaia. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to use this as the example because, and when I give examples, it's not a blame. It's to explain how processes work. Everything for me is logistics and dynamics, and we get into all the quantum stuff, okay? Part of my process was to be reprimanded as a child and told that I couldn't get dirty. Don't get your hair dirty. I always had to be perfect, which meant that I carried that over into I always had to be perfect, don't get dirty, don't play. So when it was time for me to actually wake up and come into consciousness, you have to merge with Gaia's consciousness. I refused to go outdoors. I refused to let go and play. I was carrying those conditionings with me. And when my universe inside said, you have to go play, you have to lay on the earth, you have to get dirty, you got to get in the mud. I'm going, oh, no, I can't get in the mud. I can't get dirty. And I really had to, it's called breaking your programming down. Yeah. And I actually, do you know how hard it was for me to get dirty? And once I got dirty, I was playing in the mud, and throwing the mud and excited that you're becoming an innocent child again, which is activating your creator energy. We as creator source, incarnate, embodied here, are creators of our realities. We consciously create everything fully aligned on a soul level. Well, you can't come to be that creator if you can't allow yourself to play.
Right.
It's creation. You're birthing creation. And New Earth is a rebirth. You rebirth yourself as a child all over again. That innocence starts to come through, that wide-eyed, just wonder at the magic and the beauty. We have to allow ourselves that experience to even remember anything here. It's like the beginning of the process for all of us. It's not, but our human ego will make every excuse. I don't have time to go. I did it. And so I'll give you an example. In my early days, my universe kept telling me, nudging me. It's a nudge. And so you ask how you know. You're going to be getting these nudges to do things that your ego will actually shut the door on. And you don't understand you're actually shutting the door on all those realities you most desire because you don't yet know what is aligned on a soul level.
Right.
You don't know what's in store for you. if anybody had told me what I would be doing now, I would have laughed at them, that they were freaking crazy. None of what I'm doing was in my realm of comprehension. It's none of this is.
Well, and Lisa, I just want to jump in and share with you that yesterday I was in this meeting, and it goes with Linda and what Lisa's talking about. You know, you asked, like, is that voice you like gentle and soft, or does it sometimes yell right in your head? I'm in this meeting, and the guy is up there talking about, he's like, I'll take consistency over creativity any day. He's like, you have to just be consistent and do the same thing every day, day in and day out. He's up there. And I was sitting there, and in my head, it was like, no! Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, you know, and then I had to calm myself down because it was a business meeting. But Linda, it shouted in there, and it was like, no. And it was telling me, play like a child, be creative, use the gifts God gave you. You were all given this as a child, and, you know, let it rip. And it's great that you're having this conversation right now today, because especially in the corporate arena, we are told, stay in that box, don't go up that tree. Consistency, like we're machines, not people.
Yeah, I'm going to take that consistency though, and I'm going to apply it to later. What will happen is you are consistent in allowing and embracing the creativity. There's a difference in the consistency.
Right. Well, how do you define consistency?
If you're not consistently getting up every day and focusing your energy on what's really important to you on a deep soul level, not a human attachment, lack, need, but what brings you the most joy, what excites you, what matters. It's always, the more that it supports humanity, the more it's supported.
Yeah.
Okay. The more that it's your gift and contribution vibrationally from a place of love, the more it's supported, which is the opposite of what our human believes.
Right.
Our human aspect, you know, I had somebody write in the other day and say, you know, I need to stop paying for this because this certain bill went up and that has to be my priority right now. And we don't understand our priorities are actually backwards. Your priorities actually have to change. And if you don't change them, they'll get changed for you, because as we go into a higher vibration, your universe, this is the thing about being disconnected inside, is you don't know what's aligned.
Right.
And so it's birthed from excitement and joy and embracing the magic from inside. That's what calls all those realities forth. And they get really easy because that energy transmits across all dimensions, as does every other reality too, vibration. But it's really important to let go and play and quit worrying about the way it looks. Stop judging it. Judgment will shut the door on everything. Every time you judge, you close the door. Every time you judge another, you're judging yourself. Every judgment right now, and judgment is heightened. Everybody's in the blame game right now. Everybody's pointing the finger. Everybody's in victim mode, you know, and all this kind of stuff, not even understanding that that's recreating the reality all over again. When it's all, everything is about your connection inside and your level of trust and listening. This means that you're going to be open to listening to the guidance. Our human aspect isn't open to anything at all, which is why all these other things have to occur, is to bring those walls down to get us open so that we will listen, so that we will actually shift our focus. But here's the thing. If it's not important to you, you're not going to focus your energy.
Right.
In the early days, I would make vision boards. That's a great place to start. It actually helps you get focused on the things you're claiming. And what's funny was, years ago, I did a vision board, threw it behind the couch, and forgot about it. And 2 years later, I got up and I put all the things that I wanted to release from my life. You want to always be in a place of what you're ready to release, because the human aspect isn't. Be ready to let go of everything that isn't of the highest vibrational alignment. Be ready to let it go, because if you're not ready, you're meeting it with resistance. And that resistance is what creates our suffering. Okay. And so embracing the new means trusting in the things that you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Embracing the new means getting up each day and moving into that creator energy. It means paying attention to the things you're thinking and saying, no, I'm not going to think that. I'm going to focus on what I want to create. You actually have to shift your mindset, shift your energy into creation mode. Get out of being separated off in other times. Here's the key. What do you have the capability right now to do? It doesn't matter if you have money or not. I have a lot of people that use money as an excuse. When I had absolutely nothing, my universe said, get up. Get up. What happens is you start to understand that the moment you become completely grateful for what you do have, then you get more.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
If you have no gratitude for what you have, you're not going to get any more for very long. It might come, but then it'll go again because you don't appreciate it to start with. So this is a level of appreciation. This is taking everything that you have. And this is where the alchemy comes in, is that you take everything you have and you create more with what you already have. And in the beginning, that's us. What you have, you always have the capability. Your ego will say you don't. You always have the capability to get up and do something. And in my early days, so that I could learn to appreciate what I had to go spend the day assisting others that had less. Because one, it was activating my angel energy to do kind things for other people and to care about them and stop thinking only about myself, which is what our ego does. And to realize you can always be kind. You always have the capability to do something. It's your ego aspect that keeps saying you don't.
And kindness is free. So you don't even need to have any money for kindness.
I would sit with the homeless. I would take them to the hospital. I would buy them lunch. And you know what? Your heart just bursts wide open when you're actually caring about others. Yeah. That's one of the connections we lost, is we didn't care about each other. And so part of this is learning how to connect and care and actually take everybody else into consideration and see the bigger picture and see beyond ourselves. You know, I still meet people who are doing this, but they can't see beyond themselves yet. Mm-hmm. And when you see you have the capability to make a difference, we don't believe that in the beginning. When you inspire somebody else, do you know what it feels like inside? Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. But we actually have to make the choice to get up and inspire, right? Because that's not where our focus is. Do you know how much inspiration you are going to gain when you are inspiring others and making a difference from inside of you and seeing how you're affecting their lives? Mm-hmm. And so we really have to embrace what we already have the capability to do, and we use that to create more and more and more and more. What do you have at your disposal? A lot of people put money limits on their stuff. You actually have to take your money and invest it in the things that support all of this. Right. New Earth is an investment on all of our invested energy. We actually care. You live your life this way in every capacity while identifying everything that isn't vibrationally aligned with that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so it's all, everything here is about energy. Everything. It's the energy that you're functioning from in this moment. It's the mindset that you're functioning from in this moment. It's the stories that you're claiming. It's your attachments. It's your cords. If you let go of everything in this moment and you find your happy and your peace inside, you can get up and do anything. You just have to put your mind and energy into it. And so
I'm going to stop you right there because we're at the end of today's show, but that was just a perfect ending to what we talked about this whole time, Lisa. I want to thank you for being our guest today. I'd like to thank Fred in New York City and Linda in New York City. You guys, this is going to be a great 2019 season. You'll be catching us back again next month. We're going to have a show in February on love. So you're not going to want to miss this. And I think March, we're going to talk about hair and color and all sorts of really fun things. We're going to relate that back to the light body and spirit and fifth dimension. So you're going to want to stick around. We'll be back again next month in February with our love show. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Fred. And thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.